This is a Flying Llama Studios production. Visit flyinglamastudios.net for more information.
And good evening.
Evening.
Evening?
Evening.
Yep, I think everything's working. Hi everyone, welcome to this week's BabbleFish. My name's Daniel and joining me, it's Mark from his lounge tonight.
Yes.
It seems as though, we'll get to all that in a bit, but yeah, welcome to this week's BabbleFish. We're an entertainment-focused podcast. We talk about technology, games news, geeky news. What else do we talk about?
You said tech, movies, entertainment, TV.
Sort of, yeah. Well,
rant
about stuff and life, yeah. And how awful it is, the buying a house, the whole house buying process. Oh boy. But yeah, anyways, this is us for the next hour. We've got quite a bit to talk about tonight, actually, which is quite good. And we have an announcement coming up a little later as well. And yeah, our lives are in turmoil, I think is the...
Yeah, even more so than a year ago.
Yeah. I mean, I say turmoil. There's just a lot of upheaval going on at the moment. And it's... I mean, I think for the moment, it's mostly you. Because we're still waiting to move this end, but...
Yeah, you're in limbo. I'm in full speed ahead. Yeah,
that's it. So I think this will probably be a good time to bring up the announcement that I was mentioning earlier on. This will probably be the last BabbleFish for a little while. I think we're going to be taking a bit of a season break for a while, because you've got like a lot of stuff on your end, and I've got a house move coming up imminently and a whole bunch of other stuff, and it's just going to be super awkward to try and do this on a weekly basis when it's just so much going on at the moment for us. And so we decided to take a little bit of a season break, so this will be the last BabbleFish for a while. I don't know how long exactly, but it'll be a break. It'll give us a chance to at least recharge our batteries, sort our lives out, and
refresh and see what's what, really.
Yeah, that's it. So
come back bigger, better, and badder.
Bigger, badder, worse, more confusing than I don't know. Yeah, all of the above.
More babbly.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, I'm quite happy with that in a way, because I feel as though, I mean, aside from anything else, in the fact that our lives now are in a little bit of upheaval, I am actually quite glad that we've kind of knocked this one on the head now, because it gives us a chance to kind of go away, have a think about what we want to do, and then come back with a slightly different format, with a slightly different approach, and that could be good. I think that's all.
It's something we've done before, and we, come back with
a new idea.
Slightly better, or for better or worse.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, you've moved all your stuff into your living room now, so you've I think you've pretty much packed most of your house now.
Yeah, yes, my study, computer room, office, whatever you want to call it,
is now empty.
Is now completely empty. And yeah, my bedroom's still got stuff in it, but yeah, I'm pretty much ready to
move. Yeah.
Get out. Yeah.
So I'm gonna probably drive up tomorrow, and I'm gonna give you a hand moving some stuff down, which would be fun. It's 3 hours there and 3 hours back again. 6 hours in the car in one day. That's hard. Have you ever done that before in one day? Go all the way?
Yeah, I've gone further actually. When I lived in Norwich, I don't know if you remember Bonnie.
Vaguely.
She lived over in what's it called? It's near Bristol.
Right. Okay. Well, that is quite a trip, isn't it?
Yeah, and she was having a barbecue and invited me, so I
decided to go. Yeah.
Decided to go got up quite early on. I think it was a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Drove all the way across. It wasn't Bristol. It was Gloucester. Sorry, almost as far. So drove all the way across from Norwich to Gloucester to get there for about lunchtime,
Mm-hmm.
and barbecue for the rest of the day, and then ended up leaving about midnight, I think.
Yeah.
And driving all the way back to Norwich.
Oof. That's a bit rough, isn't it?
This was, I think it must have been sort of July, August time, and it was
Mm-hmm.
boiling hot. And I got home and I just collapsed into bed. And
Yeah.
it was, if I left at about midnight, I think it must have been about 5 a.m. when I got home. So it was starting to get light, being
Yeah.
summer.
Well, I know there are people that do that sort of a drive quite
Yeah.
frequently. I mean, 3-hour drive isn't that bad, but I mean, for me it is because, I mean, really, the furthest I go is just down to Blandford and back every day for work, and that's
Yeah.
probably about it. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Well, my old commute was between about 45 minutes and an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that's not going to be the case anymore because I have
Oh,
now
I'm
officially
just-
finished my current employment, and I'm awaiting to start my new employment.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I mean that's good. I mean it's yeah.
Back-
So yeah, you'll be back down here again, which should be good.
Yeah.
And just in time for tourist season, where all the tourists arrive down here.
Yeah.
Everything's gonna be heaving.
Yeah. It's not exactly the best time to have moved,
No,
but
no.
at least I get to, I guess, make use of the lovely Dorset countryside,
Yeah,
I guess.
I suppose.
Especially when you've moved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, we've had a bit of a delay on that actually. I think the our seller's seller, see now it's 2 steps ahead of us,
Your
have
seller's
changed
seller.
have changed their minds, and they've now decided that they want to buy somewhere else. That means that they're now in a chain, which has put a 2-month delay on the whole process for everyone.
Oh, so then
Because our sellers
they
were
haven't
originally
actually
our
pulled out.
sellers were the end of the chain originally.
Yeah.
Because the place they were buying wasn't in a chain, but now they are. So,
Wait, so how's the place that they're buying not in a chain anymore if it wasn't?
they were just selling it. The original people they were just going to sell it. They weren't going to buy anywhere
Or were
else.
they going to live in a tent on
I don't know
a
what their
common
plans
somewhere?
were. I don't know what I don't know what they were planning. All I know is that it was supposedly end of chain, so there wasn't a chain, so it was supposed to be quite quick. But now there is a chain.
What? Because they've
changed their minds. Yeah.
Are they still selling, or are they?
Yeah, they're still
just...
selling. They're just buying something else now.
So it's going to be down to them getting all their checks done.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the delay.
Man.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's like it's awful though. I don't know.
It is.
I
We
don't know.
really need to get our
Yeah.
rules changed in this country.
I think
Selling
I think after
property.
all of this, I think I'm never gonna move again. I think we're pretty much determined. This is it. You can bury us there. That's it. We're never going through this again. It's been awful. It's been a year. It's been
nearly.
it's nearly a year. Yeah, it's nearly a year of mostly just people messing us around.
When
but-
did you actually put your house on the market?
I don't want to talk about it too much. I mean, this isn't the Daniel House buying show.
Nah.
But yeah, anyway, so I mean it's good news you're moving back down again. It's good news that you found yourself a job down here. It's good news that you'll be with your family. It's good news that we'll be able to see each other more frequently.
Yes.
So yeah, it's good news.
Yes, it is. And hopefully it will also lead to me being able to buy somewhere as well.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, hopefully won't be the headache that you've got.
The thing is, I think it's much easier for first-time buyers than it is if you've already got a place. I think if you're just turning up and you got like a suitcase full of cash, and you just let them buy this house, you'd be like, okay.
Well,
But once you have property you have to sell in order
Yeah.
to get equity and all the rest of it, it then becomes a much more complicated issue. So yeah, I don't know. It's
It's the whole chain stuff, isn't it?
Hmm.
That's the problem.
Yeah, it's awful. Anyway, so yeah, on a separate note, does mean that I'm going to have a chance to rebuild the studio as well, ahead of the move, and get rid of a load of rubbish I don't want to take with me. Because this studio is kind of
Overkill.
It is a little bit, yeah. I'm gonna try and get rid of a load of stuff that I no longer need. Have a bit of a clean out before the move, which might happen at some point in this lifetime. I don't know anymore. I just sort of, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like every time you're like, oh, we're going to be moving soon.
Nope. Something else goes wrong. Yeah, somebody else changes their mind, or something horrible happens, and it's just But it's mostly just been people messing us around.
It's crazy because if you were in, say, America or
you'd be done like
Australia,
6 months ago.
Yeah, you'd have been done like within a month of you putting an offer in.
Yeah, that's it. I mean,
it's insane how stupid our system is in this country.
Yeah. Anyway, so
sorry, rant over.
Yeah, that's it. I didn't want to. Yeah, I didn't want to focus too much on the house stuff, because I'm sure it's not particularly very interesting for a lot of people. But yeah. Anyway, so shall we take a look at the news then? I suppose that's what we're here to do, after all.
I suppose so.
We don't have a movie of the week this week though, because our lives have just been so hectic. We've just been, you've just been focusing on other stuff, and I've been doing other things as well. Doing a lot more drawing, or try to do a lot more drawing.
And VR chat.
Yeah.
Well, that's a side note.
Yeah. Which I'm actually quite enjoying. VR is actually quite fun. It's a lot of fun. Met a lot of really interesting people.
Yeah, it's good. Something I want to have a look at some point.
All right, well, let's take a look at the news. Oh, and before we start, I just want to say a big thank you to Stephen as well for collecting all this news for us for the last sort of couple of months.
Yeah, it has been. It's
been really useful. He's been a researcher, and I don't think we've ever said thank you to him properly on the show. So I suppose this is that time. Thank you to Stephen for finding us all these news articles and stuff, because it is a bit tricky to find interesting things to talk about, especially given what's going on in the world.
Yeah, I mean, before...
Because it's all like the coronavirus,
trawling through various different websites going, don't care about that, don't care about that, don't care about that. There's so much clickbait and just rubbish.
Yeah, there is. So, it does take Stephen...
stuff that we talk about is rubbish as well, but...
Yeah, it's relative, but it's the thing is, at least, the stuff that we have to talk about is actually relatively interesting. That's...
You go trying to look for stuff about entertainment, entertainment like TV or movies, and half the stories are about what some celebrity's done that week. It's like...
Nobody cares.
Why do you care? It's just a human being going about their life.
Mm-hmm.
Leave them alone.
I've never understood the fascination with celebrity.
No, it's stupid. They're just another human being.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just don't get it.
They may be paid well and do their job extremely well, but surely that's something to aspire to rather than...
Yeah. I've never understood celebrity. It's never really been something I've ever really understood.
Yeah. You could admire someone, but don't go crazy.
Yeah, exactly,
about
right?
it.
Exactly. Anyway, so basically, we've completely gone off track again. I just want to, like I said, just thank you to Stephen. Yes. He's been really helpful in getting some interesting news together for these shows for the last couple of months. So thanks to him. Cool. So that being said, shall we crack on then? You can pick the first article.
I suppose so. This one's probably not going to be interesting to you because you don't like superhero stuff.
Yeah.
But apparently Disney / Marvel are going to be developing a Hawkeye spin-off.
Who's a Hawkeye?
Hawkeye.
Yeah, who's a Hawkeye?
There's already a Hawkeye TV show being developed for Disney Plus.
Yeah, but who is Hawkeye? I mean, I guess he's a superhero.
Yeah.
What's his thing?
He's essentially Robin Hood,
Right.
except without the Robin. Robbing, not Robin.
Right. So he's
But it's a spin-off of Hawkeye.
right.
So
Okay.
there's a Hawkeye
Hawkeye
TV
spin-off, right,
series
yeah.
coming out, which is starring Jeremy Renner, who was Hawkeye in the Avengers movies,
Right.
and it's going to be following him and his daughter. But from this, there's another spin-off being
Yeah.
developed called Echo, apparently called Echo.
Yeah.
That's going to follow
Kevin.
this character that's deaf, apparently.
Wasn't there like a character who was blind? What was his name?
Daredevil.
That's the one. So they're gonna
Yeah.
have like all the things. You're gonna have the deaf superhero, the blind superhero, the
I would say paraplegic, but then you've got Professor X
yeah.
from X-Men, and that's now obviously Marvel, so
Yeah.
or Disney because they own Fox, so they've got that.
Pretty much covered, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's the thing. I mean, like you said, I'm not really a big one for superheroes, so
No. It's interesting from the standpoint that, the Hawkeye TV series hasn't released yet, and they're already
planning a spin-off for
planning
it. Yeah.
a spin-off of this series, which, considering they've already had...
Do you think they're just at this point just throwing as much stuff against the wall as they can to see what sticks?
Yeah, I think so, because
Okay.
they've already had, obviously, WandaVision, which was a very good series by the end of it, actually. It started off a bit iffy, but it was very good. And now you've got Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I've lost count
which
of all
was
these. I don't. If it's a
just
superhero thing, I
started.
just don't watch. Yeah.
And from the first episode, it seemed pretty good. So the Hawkeye show should be hopefully quite good, and it will give Jeremy Renner a lot more to do because in the Avengers movies, he was kind of a bit of a side character.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he's a character that fires arrows.
Oh, him.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. He was always seemed really outclassed. He was just some guy that just sort of tagged along.
Yeah.
So I can help, really? Okay, with all these like giant flying space monsters and Thor and lasers and God knows what else and meteors flying around and there's some dude with a bow and arrow.
But then you could say the same
I
about
can-
Black Widow as well.
I can help, really? How? How are you gonna make the situation better with your bow?
He's just really good. Like, really, really good.
Well, still, he always seemed a bit outclassed and kind of a bit out of place.
It's kind of the same with Black Widow.
Yeah.
I mean, two humans that don't have any like super
Superpowers.
futuristic technology to use. They haven't got an Iron Man suit or anything
No.
like that. With all these other characters that have got powers or suits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, they're developing a spin-off
Yeah.
of this series. That's the news basically.
Yeah.
Apparently, the character is a Native American as well.
Okay.
They made big note of that.
Yeah, of course they would because why not?
Well,
All right. Well, I mean that's the thing. I'm really sorry I haven't really contributed to the conversation much, but as is well documented, superhero movies aren't really my thing. Actually, there isn't an awful lot that actually is my thing these days.
yeah. Yeah. Can't ask you what your thing is because you don't know what your thing is.
No, I don't know what my thing is.
Final Space.
No, I didn't even like that. I found that boring. I turned that off after the first 15 minutes.
What the season 1? Season
Season
3.
three? Yeah,
Episode
just-
1.
yeah.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, I just saw the preamble, the beginning with this. I just found it all just really overly dramatic and not particularly funny or interesting.
Yeah, it was a pretty good episode actually.
I'm just like, I don't care about any of this. Off. don't care about. I don't care about.
This is why we can't do movies anymore.
Because none of it interests me.
None of them are any good. There's no good movies anymore, or at least there's no good movies that will be accepted by Dan.
Yeah. So whatever. All right, well, I guess moving on.
Yeah.
Splinter Cell Netflix series writer Derek Kolstad reveals new details, including episode length. So they're making a Netflix series about Splinter Cell.
Yes.
And it's animated, apparently.
Yeah. Which may satiate some people's Splinter Cell itch, considering Ubisoft don't seem to want to make a new Splinter Cell game.
I don't really see... I didn't really... wow. I mean, I have very little positive to say about anything. In all honesty, I didn't really even like Splinter Cell particularly. I wasn't actually ever really that engaged by the series.
The thing is that the game series hasn't really been a thing for, what,
A long
10
time.
years?
Yeah.
So,
it seems odd that they're resurrecting it in an anime. Maybe they're going to make a new game and they want to remind people that Splinter Cell is a thing.
Possibly.
Hey guys, you remember that game you used to play like 10 years ago? Yeah.
Yeah.
Before
you were an adult and had children of your own and can't play games anymore.
Look, here's a animated series. Doesn't that make you pine for the days when you used to play Splinter Cell games? Well, lucky you. Look what's in development now, a new Splinter Cell game. It's a live service.
Tied into your Netflix account.
Yeah. I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if that happens, by the way. I really wouldn't. I mean, at this point.
They could make it choose your own adventure style, like they did with that Black Mirror episode.
Mm.
And I think they did it with Kimmy Schmidt as well.
Yeah. So the article here goes on to read, one of Netflix's highest profile animated projects is a Splinter Cell series based on the popular Tom Clancy video game from Ubisoft. Mm-hmm. The show was announced last summer. In a new interview, they released some upcoming details to try and shed light on things a bit. They basically just go over who he is. The first season has been greenlit. It'll be 8 episodes in total. Yeah, but they don't really go into much detail. I mean, they talk about the main character, but they don't really talk about what.
Sam Fisher.
Yeah.
So it looks like the episodes are going to be somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes long.
Mm-hmm. Significantly shorter than Amazon's episodes for its new animated series Invincible.
Oh yeah, that comes out tomorrow, doesn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Is it tomorrow? That does look good, actually. Sorry, that's a.
Yeah. Well, we can talk about that later on. I mean, I haven't heard of that. So I mean, the Splinter Cell. I mean, to give people a bit of an indication of what this is, because so far we haven't given. I mean, if anyone who hasn't heard of Splinter Cell wouldn't have the slightest clue what this series is about.
No, that's true. I mean, most people. I imagine a lot of people have heard of Tom Clancy.
I don't know. I mean, let's just assume they haven't. So basically, he's a super spy, assassin dude.
Yeah, it's a bit like if you're talking games, think, I suppose, Metal Gear Solid.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like stealthy, sneaky.
Sneaky sneaks.
Yeah.
Sneaky sneaks.
But as they say in this article, it's a character that was created by Tom Clancy, who is a very big writer of sort of spy stealth books.
Yeah.
So I imagine a lot of people have heard of Tom Clancy. Is it Clancy or Clancy?
Well, I mean, I don't know. There's probably a few people that haven't. I mean, honestly, whatever. So basically, he's just a super spy, assassin dude. He's famous for having green night vision goggles. He's, just and that's always what the game was. And I guess they're just gonna have a series about this. I mean, kind of think like James Bond, but probably less secret agency and more just super soldiery.
Yeah, more SEAL team rather than lone gunman.
Yeah. I mean, he's not exactly the most interesting character either. I mean, the article does go on and on and on, but they don't actually say an awful lot.
It really does.
They just talk about the inspiration behind it, but
they also mentioned that it's probably about 2 years away, maybe 18 months.
Yeah. Well, I
Because
suspect they are making a new game, and this is basically publicity for it.
Well, you say that. I mean, Netflix have also got a Tomb Raider TV animated series in the works, as well as.
Do you think all these people are just basically
King Kong
running out
1.
of ideas, and they'll just throw anything they can?
Well,
at it and
possibly.
just-
I mean, they've also got Kong Skull Island, Resident Evil, apparently a Final Fantasy one. I hadn't heard about that, and Assassin's Creed as well.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Alongside the already running Fast and Furious spy races and Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. So they are really going big on animated series, and
I think that's because it's cheaper to make these things.
yeah,
To be honest
true.
with you, it's because most of these things are CGI, and they've got all these software and systems that make doing these things a lot easier and actually relatively cheap content to produce these days.
Yeah,
And so Netflix is buying this stuff up because hey, it's content,
yeah, and with the
and
current,
everyone else is happy because it's like, hey, it's advertising for our franchise.
with the current situation, it's very easy to do. People working from home can do the animation. Voice actors can, if they've got decent enough audio equipment, they can do the recording from home and send it to whoever.
Wherever, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably the easiest format to do at the moment.
Yeah, and the cheapest, which is why we're seeing so much of it.
Yeah.
And I'm really not interested in animated stuff particularly.
Well, it depends. If it's childlike,
Yeah, I mean the thing is, I just
aimed at children, then not really. If it's aimed at adults and it's done right, then yeah, I'll watch it.
Okay. Well, anyway, so moving on to the next article then. So you can kick us off. Your data, your experience. I agree. Cookies.
What?
The internet is awful these days.
Sorry, you threw me there. What
I'm trying to look at this article, and all I'm getting are just like, accept our cookies, accept our tracking, accept our analytics, accept.
No.
We want to know everything about you, where you're from,
I'm
what you're
assuming
clicking
this
on.
is this article about China banning apps from collecting excessive user data starting May 1st.
I love how there's a banner on this. So this is an article saying China's to ban apps from collecting excessive user data.
Yeah.
Which I find really interesting because that goes
It's quite
contrary to a lot of their more recent behaviors. But anyway, so I just find it quite ironic that there's like a banner above it on the same page saying, thinking about business in China, see the potential, know the challenge. So they're trying to promote business in China, which, I mean, I'm not going to comment. I could talk a lot about that, but I'm not going to. Anyway, sorry, keep going. I just thought that was quite funny.
Yeah. So this article, as we've already said, it says China to ban apps from collecting excessive user data from starting May 1st. So it goes on to say it's a common practice in China where apps ask users to provide sensitive personal information, and those who decline to share are often denied access. Well, I think certain aspects of that are true everywhere in the world. So while it also says while some of the requests are justifiable, such as one's location information to use as map navigation. Many others are unnecessary, such as one's biometrics
Mm-hmm.
to make mobile payments. Now, when they talk about biometrics, do they also mean fingerprint? Because I mean, that's a good security
biometric.
method.
Yeah.
That's a good security method for, payment.
Mm-hmm.
You have to.
But the thing is, I mean, if
Authorize
that
it.
data got into the wrong person's hands,
Yes.
that's
So they're not going to be able to collect that information.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's I think that's probably a good thing. But I mean,
Yeah. It depends on how far they're going to go with this.
Mm-hmm.
And it does actually say here, extraneous data is most often used for advertising purposes, such as serving up localized ads or ads based on the user's interests.
Mm-hmm.
Which, there again, is kind of a worldwide issue.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that Google's trying to crack down on, isn't it?
Yeah.
To a certain degree. I mean, this is not going to affect a lot of people elsewhere in the world anyway, because obviously China. But it's.
I just think it's interesting that I don't know. I mean, it just seems super ironic that China are finally starting to think about user data and privacy. I mean, it seems like a complete
almost out of character, doesn't it?
It does. I don't understand what their motivation is, given everything that we know about China.
Maybe they've finally realized that they collect lots and lots of useless data.
Yeah.
So it's easier not to collect it.
Do you think they could just see it as a security issue? Just like some sort of a national security issue? Like,
unlikely.
sort of, maybe it could get into the hands of some other countries or something, so they can start to analyze people's behaviors or something. I don't know. I don't understand what their motivations are.
I suppose it could be used to do that, but I think
all I'm saying is it wouldn't surprise me if there was some other motivation behind this.
Probably there, governments don't do these sort of things out the kindness of their hearts.
Exactly.
Do they? Usually there is.
There's usually an ulterior motive there.
Yeah. Like, ooh, that's good. That's good. That's really good.
Well, I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. So yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, good, I suppose. Now they just have to. Yeah. No, I'm not.
I mean, it's not going to affect us anyway, but.
No. Yeah. So for now, the document appears to be guidelines at best and doesn't actually specify the rules, or they haven't actually enforced anything yet, or made any sort of concrete rules or guidelines. They've just sort of said, here are some rough guidelines. So it's kind of like the pirate court.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and your punishment would probably be just as extreme.
Yeah. Well, anyway. So, moving on then. We've got about a half hour left of the show. Yeah, just a little bit of a reminder, really. No movie of the week this week, because we haven't had time to watch anything. And honestly, there's nothing really worth talking about, at least not that I've seen anyway. I mean, I did watch Paradise PD. And that was just so gross these days. It's so gross.
It's so over the top.
It's so gross
to watch. Oh, there was news about the Black Widow movie.
Okay.
Disney have actually relented, and it is also coming to Disney Plus the same day it comes out in theaters or cinemas.
Yeah.
Obviously,
are they going to be opening again anytime soon?
I don't know about here, but this is in. I mean, most articles I've seen are obviously American.
Yeah.
But I imagine it'll be the same over here. So in America, you'll pay the extra premium of $30 to watch it.
Mhm.
Over here, I think it's generally about £19.
Okay. I mean, it's still pretty good when you consider,
But
the price of cinema tickets.
the interesting thing is that this movie should have come out, I think, last May, and Disney were adamant that it was going to come out in theaters and not go onto streaming platforms. And now
They have their own
they're
streaming
saying,
platform.
well, even after launching that and it being really successful, and them having other movies debut on the streaming platform, Disney were really putting their shoe in and saying, no, 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 it's definitely going to go into theaters first. It's not going to come to the platform at the same time. Now they've changed their mind.
Yeah, of course they have.
And it's
Because the
coming.
shareholders are realizing, because Disney World's been closed, or Disney has been closed for like a couple of years. They've had to, they haven't had any income from that. Really their main source of income at the moment is this Disney Plus thing.
Yeah.
If you think about it. So their shareholders are saying, oh, well, we have to get some money in. We haven't had any money in for like 2 years.
Oh, I think they're raking money in through Disney Plus. And
Exactly, yeah.
obviously,
But that's one of their main money spinners at the moment, because everything else is, So of course they're going to...
I imagine merchandise is still quite high, but... Yeah. That was just a side note.
Yeah. Anyway, so back to the news. Brazil's consumer protection regulator fines Apple $2 million. Why bother? As if $2 million means anything to Apple.
I think it sets a precedent for every other country in the world.
But the thing is, it's like, I don't...
Because if one country can do this, then every other country can do this. And force Apple to either include the charger or do what some of the cheaper brands have done and offer you the phone with or without the charger at no extra price.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That's what you should do.
Yeah.
You shouldn't just say no charger. If you want a charger, you got to pay X for one.
Yeah.
And keep the price the same.
I mean, Apple hiding behind their, this is for the environment.
It's not about the environment.
It really isn't. It's so that they can make more money out of selling chargers.
Exactly, yeah. It's so blatant. So, I mean, I guess it's a good thing. But, I mean, honestly, £2 million is nothing to them.
Or dollars. Well, I don't know. In Brazil, it might actually be.
No, I'm saying, I'm not talking about Brazil. I'm talking about Apple's perspective.
Yeah, from Apple's perspective, $2 million is...
It's nothing.
It's like pocket change.
Here, take 20.
Yeah.
Have fun, kids.
Hell, they could probably give them $1 billion and not scoff.
Yeah,
too
no,
much.
it's ridiculous. I mean, it's like, if you're gonna, I don't know. So,
if you're really gonna fine a company that's that big, do it properly.
Yeah, I don't understand why the 2 million thing. It just seems whatever. Anyway, so yeah, so they were successful apparently.
Yeah, I mean, it's for misleading advertising, selling a device without the charger, and unfair terms.
It's not the first time, yeah.
Unfair terms is interesting.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Apple are massive, and they can just throw their weight around and do whatever they want. Because what are you going to do? They're Apple. I mean, the only thing you can do is just not buy their products. But there are millions of people who do, so... Yeah,
too many zealots out there.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous when you consider, the average price of these things. Like, just the smallest, most basic phone they have at the moment is,
the
I think...
SE, yeah.
And then that's... I mean, even that's like £400? Something like that. I thought it was like 300 or something, or 400, somewhere around there.
I've not really looked at the price of the SE.
Yeah. But if you go for any of the newer ones, like the most basic iPhone 12 mini, it's $730.
Yeah.
And the... But yeah, I mean, the prices in Brazil are, for the same phone, are 12. So why... I wonder why the prices are so much bigger and so much more in...
It's probably got to do partly down to exchange rate, partly down
taxes.
to economy.
Yeah,
taxes,
I mean...
trade taxes.
That's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's
Depreciation
similar
of
with,
Brazilian real and the pandemic helped to increase the US dollar over Brazil's currency. It's to do with exchange rates. Oof, Brazil's not doing very well at all at the moment, is it?
No, they have really suffered over the last year.
Yeah. So there we go, £2 million or dollars.
Yeah, it would actually be.
So yeah,
more
there was
if
actual
it was
statement
pounds.
from Executive Director Fernando Capes said Apple needs to understand that in Brazil there are solid consumer protection laws and institutions. It needs to respect these laws and these institutions. Apple didn't respond, but the company can appeal to court if it wants to. I very much doubted he would even blink. Apple didn't even turn up.
No, they were probably like $2 million.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah. Here, have some toilet roll.
Yeah. So all these Brazilian, legislators and, people sat around in their courtroom looking all officious with their wigs and hammers and whatever else have you.
Yeah.
Order.
We're going to make so much money with Apple. And Apple go, yeah, okay.
Never mind.
Yeah.
But you do see there are an awful lot of people that are saying, that are really sort of in Apple's camp for saying, oh no, the reason why they're doing it is purely for the environment. But it's not.
It's not.
I mean, how could it really isn't, no?
Because what you think, any of the Apple stores, wherever they have the power bricks that they are producing, because they are producing them, they've got to be stored somewhere in, and then sold in presumably cardboard boxes like they were before. So they're actually probably worse than they were before.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, they probably don't need to manufacture as many. That's the thing. I mean, I'm sure it has had a positive environmental impact, but it's also, I mean, the main reason is their bottom line. They want more money.
Yeah. One of the arguments with, I guess, with the Android phone manufacturers is that they tend to be producing faster charging capabilities. So including a faster charger is a good thing.
Yeah.
But I don't think Apple really does anything like that.
No. Oh well, never mind. Let's move on. I don't want to talk about Apple anymore.
Yeah.
I don't really like them anyway. Sony announces new PS5 VR controllers with adaptive triggers, so you can.
Yeah. I saw these the other day, and I was like, "Huh, they look a little bit like the old HTC Vive controllers."
I do find that these controllers are getting a bit weird now. They've got these all-round sort of bits of plastic, so it's like you're putting your hands in a sphere, and the controller is inside, and you can just, I don't know why they do. I think it's just for better hand tracking, I suppose, but it does look a little awkward, doesn't it?
It wasn't the Vive. What was it? There was another controller VR headset that had a controller that
Very
was
similar to that,
this. I can't remember which one it was. It wasn't the Vive. That had a really weird one.
Yeah.
I do quite like it though.
I'm sure it's quite light. I'm sure it's relatively unobtrusive, and I'm sure it still allows for flexibility and all the rest of it. It just looks awkward. I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's fine. It just appears awkward. I
can't see how it would look awkward.
The thing is, I'm quite used to my controllers just being little joysticks you hold in your hands. These wraparound spheroid things do seem.
I mean, it's quite large.
Yeah.
Take up a lot of space.
And they probably keep rolling off your desk and stuff.
Well, I suppose you could hang it off of
Oh no, my controllers are rolling away again. Quick!
I assume that they would sit flat if you put them on their end.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. But I'm just saying, if you didn't do it properly, then they might
Yeah.
sort of roll off somewhere.
Rolling away, no.
My controller balls are rolling away. Anyway, yeah. So, what do they mean by adaptive trigger? So the PlayStation 5. So okay, so the PlayStation 5 isn't really a platform that I think lends itself to VR.
Well, I mean, they had the PSVR for PlayStation 4 as well.
Yeah, they did, but
Which-
they didn't have that many games, did they? Though.
I think he's got quite a library. It's not huge, but
No.
I think it's a reasonable library.
Okay. Well, anyway, so they're pushing ahead with the whole VR thing, because it's a brave new frontier, and Sony's revealing its new VR controllers for the PlayStation 5. The orb-shaped controllers look more like typical VR controllers and existing PlayStation Move motion controllers. Nah. They also include the adaptive trigger technology found on the DualSense PlayStation 5 controller. So each controller has tensions in the triggers, and Sony is aiming to use this tech. So it basically, it's not a binary 1 or 0. It's
Thing is, that will limit VR games because they'd have to be to a certain degree.
They would have to be written to use them.
Exclusively written for PlayStation VR. Yeah.
Yeah. So it would really, I mean, it's yeah. Oh, look at this amazing new feature, game developers. It's called adaptive triggers. Wouldn't it be good if you wrote your games so that it can make use of this technology?
It's like, wait, no, the biggest platform that we've got so far is what? Oculus Quest?
Pretty much.
So people are going to be like, no, I'm developing for the Quest.
So it'll be interesting to see how many games, if any, take advantage of this. I mean, I'm sure games can be ported and just, modified to take advantage of it, but...
Possibly.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how much of a benefit, because I can't actually see how this would actually improve anything. If you fire a gun, you pull the trigger. That's it. There's no gradual. You don't fire more bullets the harder you pull the trigger, do you? It's a. So it'd be interesting. I mean, maybe with car racing, maybe with racing, because you got the accelerator pedal, and that's a gradual thing.
Well, there's also, say you had a sword or a knife, and you were stabbing something.
Yeah.
Maybe the tension that you use on that trigger may adjust how deep or how
fast.
Yeah, you slice or
hit something over the head with a hammer.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is you do. Yeah. I mean, maybe. I mean, I can see some use cases for it, but I mean, it's interesting.
It's one of these things that you look at and you go, yeah, it's quite an interesting idea, but it probably won't last long. It's a bit like the whole thing with the PlayStation 4 with that touch panel in the middle of the controller, which I think is also on the PlayStation 5, but not many games really made use of that.
Yeah. So these controllers apparently also going to have haptic feedback and finger touch detection. So yeah, I mean, a lot of controllers already have that anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, even the cheaper ones have that. Yeah, apparently this is all to enable you to make more natural gestures with your hands during gameplay. Cool. Well, I mean, the article does tend to go on and on and on and on about it, but I mean, yeah, I mean, at least I'm glad there's some sort of innovation going on. There's still some development. I do think VR is kind of the future of a lot of things now, because I think it is becoming more and more popular. I think the cost of entry is getting low enough now that it is viable, and I think that is helping things pick up a bit more, and now you're going to see more people developing games for it, so that'll hopefully mean that the cost of these games and these experiences are going to come down a bit.
No, I agree. Yeah, everything looks as if VR is now here to stay.
Yeah.
And it is, as you say, coming down to a reasonable price. And I don't think the games or the software are really going to get any cheaper, because I think they're pretty much at a lot of them are as cheap as they're going to be.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to be a little bit like PC/console games where they gradually creep up a bit.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean,
It's interesting. I
10
think,
years time when we have full VR
body,
suits
yeah,
that we can get into and be in proper Ready Player One style in the Oasis.
yeah. I'm already living that.
Yeah.
I'm already doing that.
Well, you haven't got a full body suit.
No, but it's basically there.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Well, anyway, so there we go. Basically, the controllers are fancy, and if you're planning on getting PlayStation VR with a PlayStation 5, then yeah, you got some fancy controllers to go along with it. So
one day, because it's not coming out this year.
No.
They don't know when it's coming out. So
right, we got some news from Nintendo. Do you want to take this one?
Mario. Nintendo and Niantic are teaming up again for an AR Pikmin game.
So AR is augmented reality.
Now, Niantic, you may have heard of because they're well known for Pokemon Go.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's going to be another Pokemon Go thing.
So, yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. And Pikmin's a bit weird. It's a franchise that I've never really been interested in. I looked at it because when Pikmin came out on I want to say the GameCube.
Yeah, it did. You're
I
right.
think it was the GameCube that Pikmin first came out.
I've
on,
never
and
played it. It never really struck me as being interesting.
No, likewise, and they've made about 3 separate games of this.
They're just little
I love
alien
the
things.
fact
So you have
that
to
it
collect
says here,
stuff.
a few years ago, Nintendo and Niantic Labs combined to create Pokemon Go,
No, they didn't.
sparking an augmented reality game.
Niantic did it, and then Nintendo. I think they sort of came along and they.
According to...
Excuse me. Because I don't think Nintendo invested in it. I didn't think they thought it would be successful.
yeah,
I think all of the risk was with Niantic.
No, because it was... Well, some of it maybe, but it was in coalition or...
Collaboration?
Collaboration with Pokemon Company, I think they're called, which is
okay.
a Nintendo company.
Right.
It's under the Nintendo umbrella.
Yeah.
I think they're called Pokemon. It's Pokemon something, yeah.
Yeah.
So it looks as if you're basically going to have a load of Pikmin follow you.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, why?
I don't know. I mean, I think they're hoping to recreate the sensation that was Pokemon Go with another game. But I don't think Pikmin's going to be the way to go with that one.
Yeah, I mean, from the looks of it, this article has only got like links to tweets that have pictures of someone's legs with a load of Pikmin following them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
It's basically just gameplay activities designed to encourage walking and a more active lifestyle and to make walking more delightful.
Well, which is something that I would say Pokemon did.
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon Go did extremely well when it first came out. I mean, obviously, it burnt out after
6 months?
what, 6 months? Yeah.
Yeah.
There are still people around the world that play it, but
It's kind of done, yeah.
it's
Well, I mean, that's it. I guess anything that sort of encourages people to be more active isn't a bad thing. I think that's probably a good thing. I'm just not the sort of person that would play augmented reality games when I'm trying to walk somewhere.
No.
Yeah.
However, if you've got an Oculus Quest, you could do that.
Yeah.
Because obviously that's got the cameras where you can overlay and still walk around.
Yeah. Well, there was
It'd look really weird, but
yeah, that's it. I mean, there's a couple last bits really we want to talk about, but I think what we're going to do for the last 5 minutes of the show is just say goodbye, really, because it'll be a few months before we're back with probably a brand new show, with probably a brand new idea. So, but yeah, I mean, just to wrap up, I think there's a couple articles here. There's one from... Well, let's talk about TikTok, because I mean that's vaguely interesting.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean it's it's not interesting to me, obviously. I mean nothing's interesting to me.
Well, that's true, but
But yeah, apparently TikTok is no more threatening than Facebook for data security or privacy.
okay.
And now I've got one of these.
That's not really something that you should be proud of.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, you're basing this against Facebook.
Yeah. The thing is, TikTok is actually owned by a Chinese company, isn't it now? These days? I think it is. China. Oh, sorry, yeah. TikTok and its Chinese counter. Yeah.
Yes, because it was something that the old president was trying to force Microsoft to buy.
Yeah, that's it. Whatever happened with that? Did that just disappear?
I think it. Yeah, I think everybody
Just
involved basically went nope.
And then what happened? So it stayed the same?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Pretty much. I think, yeah, most people just sort of ignored X-Prez,
Yeah.
which is what people should have done in the first place anyway. But
Yeah. So I don't know. Researchers found no evidence that either app collects user data without the permission of its users. The report did fault for employing censorship in various political terms, while reports... So they do employ censorship. The report's finding as to whether TikTok did the same was inconclusive.
however, they're clever with this sort of stuff, though, because signing up to a lot of these platforms requires you a lot of the time to agree to certain terms.
Yeah.
And in those terms, it probably will state something about collecting data.
Yeah. I mean, of course it does. I mean, this is their...
Most people do not read these terms.
No. I mean, if you're not paying with cash, you're paying with your data.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, it's either one way or the other, you're paying. So, yeah, it's the same with Google or Apple. It's like Google collects your data. Apple don't. They just sell you overpriced stuff. So which is more important? Yeah, which is more important? Which is more important? Your money or your data? And yeah, that's it. One way or another, you're always going to pay for it.
Most people would probably say money, I would imagine, because without money, you can't really do anything.
Yeah.
But then if your data's been sold to other people, well, it could be used nefariously.
Well, which is, probably happening all the time anyway, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's it. I think we're almost at the end of the show, so I think now is a good time as any to wrap things up and to say thank you very much to all our listeners over the last year and a bit, a couple of years we've been doing this. Yeah, it's been good, but I think now is the time to sort of knock it on the head, and
we've got so much going on at the moment. We can't.
Yeah, we're gonna come back and we're gonna come up with a new idea, and yeah, might try something a bit more focused rather than just something reasonably generic. I don't know. We'll see. We'll have a think and we'll decide what we want to do. And so yeah, if you'd like to continue following us, head over to our YouTube page. We're on Twitch as well, and our website flyinglamastudios.net is our website. We will continue to be doing various other shows as well, so we're still going to be around, just we won't be doing BabbleFish on a weekly basis.
Yeah, maybe not both of us either.
Yeah, at least for a while.
We may be doing other things.
But yeah, please do email us. We'd love to hear from you. Our email address is flyinglamastudios@gmail.com. That's flyinglamastudios@gmail.com is our email address. If you'd like to get in touch with us for whatever reason, feel free to do so. But really, from the both of us, thank you very much indeed to Forest FM for putting us up.
To broadcast.
Yeah, allowing us to this hour on a Friday night. So from the both of us, thank you very much for all your support and your listenership. and your viewership if you're watching on Twitch or YouTube. Take care and watch this space. Bye.
Bye.
This was a Flying Llama Studios production. None.
Perfect.